heat, so I took a sheet pan and laid that over the top so it created an even heat and the flame wasn't directly on the kettle. And just went at it low and slow. And it took about 14 hours.
Wow.
And I did two batches of that. And that I only made about 100 gallons. It wasn't a very large batch, but it was certainly enough. We had while we were doing it, we had bees dive bombing us, and I saved as many as I could, but they ultimately tried to get into that honey. But that's really how we did it, and it was a mixture of the apple cider, the caramelized honey, and off we went. The one piece of advice that I would give to any home maker out there, home mead maker, is boiling hot honey is not something you want to mess around with. It will burn you significantly.
Yeah.
As you're going,
it's like that's like working with napalm. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean it can hurt you. One thing I did to keep an eye on color is I used the bottom of a honey bucket lid, a nice bright white lid, and every hour I'd pull a drop out and put it on that white bucket so I could see it, almost like SRM in beer, and figuring out what the colors were to see how dark it was getting. And when it came time to dissolve, you don't want to shut that honey off and let it cool, because if you do, you've hit hard crack and it's going to turn into a solid block. So you're going to want to, literally a drop at a time while it's cooling down, add just a touch of cider or water or whatever it is you're mixing into it, just a little bit at a time, because it's going to fizz up and it's going to splatter and it's going to get a little bit crazy. So just a little bit at a time, and you temper it. So you want to, just a little bit at a time, dissolve that liquid into, or dissolve that caramelized honey into the liquid as you're adding it, because it will get violent if you just go and dump it in and try to cool it off too fast. So
did you have any?
Be very careful.
Did you have any space at all between the sheet pan and the bottom of the lobster pot, or was it right on the sheet pan?
No, it was pretty much right on it. I used a heavy-duty commercial grade sheet pan. And again, it wasn't blazing hot. I mean, I really did take my time getting it up to temperature. Once it got up to temperature, I could turn it up a little bit, and I could just stir it, and it was fine. But to get that thing hot and get it going, I didn't just throw it on high and let it go. I really took my time, because I never released it, but I videotaped the whole thing. I talked about it. I did this, I did that. I never did anything with the videos. So I really wanted to take my time and kind of learn as I was videotaping it for my own knowledge. And those are just a few of the things that I figured out along the way. It's just kind of low and slow, and then gradually increase the heat.
Did you find that it's like when you're making caramel, that it won't color, and then all of a sudden, boom, it all goes brown quick? Does
yes.
it behave?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What I noticed the most, it's funny how food actually acts like that. You can quickly get boil over, and of course you want to watch out for that. Another reason for the low and slow method is, and one thing I noticed is when it started getting darker, there was like a split second where the smell of it changed. And that's something I noticed. I mean, who knows if that really even took place, but it was something I sensed, and I was like, geez, that really smells different. And I put it on the bucket and looked at it, and sure enough, it was tremendously darker, almost like a curve, where it exponentially got darker quicker as it went on. So yeah, I did notice that, absolutely. I take it that's something you've noticed.
Well, yeah, it's also like when you're making caramel, just regular white sugar caramel, it does that. I mean,
the smell changes, yeah.
Yeah, it'll just go.
I've made candy before too.
So what you're saying is that when you're caramelizing honey, it's logarithmic?
I guess so.
Dang, honey math.
Well, the basic idea there, Vic, is you've got to get the water out of it. And while you're taking the water out of it, it's browning a little bit. And then suddenly when the water comes out, all it's got left to do is cook this solid, and so it just cooks it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. I just thought it was just really interesting because he was talking about, that it goes, it really goes, So logarithmic honey.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. It's definitely something we're going to be doing a lot more of this winter. With the cold temps outside and snow on its way, it's kind of nice to do that in the winter. Hang out outside and do that. So, plus the people driving by are like, "What is going on over there?"
Yeah, there won't be that many bees dive bombing you. At least if it's nice and cold.
It's really safer for everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Great question.
So with your bochet, do you cook and then use that as the sole ingredient honey-wise, or do you blend then back with the original honey to get some of the lighter stuff as well?
So as far as the honey is concerned?
Yeah, do you cook all the honey, or do you blend it with an uncooked cooked mix?
Typically, I do a blend. I don't always do 100%. So, with a batch of the size that we were doing, I took a large percentage and bochetted that. Meanwhile, having a bucket of honey, nearby that would be then mixed in with it. I didn't see the need to throw, I didn't want to just do 100% bochet. I think it's good to mix. It's kind of like buckwheat honey. Some of those heavy flavors come through, and that wasn't really what I was looking for. I wanted that nuance of toasted marshmallows with the apples, cinnamon and vanilla. So it was more of a composition versus a singular note. So that's kind of what I was going for.
Okay. When you say a large percentage, you're talking about 80% or higher, or?
Can you repeat that?
When you said a large percentage and you referred to the one bucket, like how high is large in your opinion?
Large percentage of that, I think in that batch it was probably like 60 to 65% bochet honey.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking to experiment, 50-50 would be fine. 100% would be fine. It was just kind of where I fell in my mind. I kind of envisioned the mead rather than trying to,
Yeah, I would
over experiment.
Yeah, Matt, Minneapolis, Matt. In case you haven't figured it out, we're a bunch of nosy Parkers around here, and you just need to sort of jump into the fray.
No,
Please.
I understand. In fact, I have found with making bochet, there's a lot of different ways to do it. On the commercial side, though, that's what I was interested in. I mean, you can do crock pots, pressure cookers, pots, all sorts of different ways of doing it. It's just when you want to do a large scale, I was wondering kind of what Ash was, how he was tackling it.
Yeah, that's how I did it. There's other methods too. In kitchens, there are also like the soup kettles, which actually have a locking mechanism, so you can actually pour out of them. Those are another great way. If you have like a kitchen supply store, a commercial kitchen supply store that sells anything used, some of those larger soup kettles work really, really well. Not something we did because we're not going necessarily mainstream with bochet. It was really just a fun batch that we wanted to make at the time and a couple of years ago. So, but there's certainly other ways of doing it for sure.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome, man. Great talking to you again.
Well, thanks for calling in, Matt.
I'm guessing we'll see you at the Meads Cup.
Yes, we'll be out there again this year. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm glad to be going back. I hated missing it last year.
It was a great year. There was a lot of great mead there.
The one year I can't go.
Well, the best part is it happens every year. So.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I love about it, is we did create a sustainable thing there, so.
Hopefully I'll be able to go in 2018.
Yeah, we couldn't pry Manny out there, and we're still trying to pry AJ out of Ottawa, and get her across the border. And
I've just about booked my flights, so everybody has to come.
Gotta get
I don't know
there.
how often I'm going to be able to get over.
Yeah. Hamish called me up, and we did like a 45-minute end-to-end planning with flights, cost of meals, dates, times.
And just like the show, Vicky seems to lose track of time, because I looked at it at about an hour 20 when I hung up.
Oh, was it? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, because it was funny. I got off the call, opened the door, and found out that the house was dark and everybody was in bed. It was like, okay then.
I know how that happens.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, my daughter and son-in-law are Army, so they get up at like, oh God, it's early. Like way before normal human beings ever have to get up, and so they go to bed early because have to get up at 4 a.m. But so
Scary.
Yeah, I know. So where do you guys go from here, Ash? I mean, what's next?
Whew. Well, man, sky's the limit right now. We re-renovated everything over the course of 2015, and we now have this 24-seat pub. We're now doing events. We have oyster nights during the summer every Fridays. We do paint nights once a month. We do sushi nights once a month. We're really creating some activities and having fun here. We do distribute our mead. We're working on several other states right now. We're in about 11 states, I think, currently, servicing about 700 stores across the country. And, we're really trying to get out there more and pouring our products in the different corners of the United States that we're in. And, I think this upcoming year, we're going to be launching kind of a new brand. We launched a brand last year called Cowboy Newt, and it's a hard honey cider, a hard maple lemonade, and a funky farmhouse cider, which has started to really gain some momentum and take off. We're now launching a new product, which I can't tell you what it is, but it will be coming out soon, and it's going to be another line, I think, that will really pique the curiosity of some people. And so we're doing that. We're really working on bettering our craft, and just trying to see what we can do and keep doing it better as best we can.
Yeah. We got a question from David Webb in Texas, and who says, incidentally, he hates secrets, but so do we all. But he asked, have you tried any sour meads? Since that's kind of a trending thing right now. Interesting question.
Yeah.
Have you guys been playing with sours?
Yes. So back in 2013, we released a kombucha mead that was actually featured in Draft Magazine. I love sours. We've done a few, but the kombucha was my most prized mead, actually, that I put out as a sour. It had that perfect balance of tanginess, funk, and that light honey flavor that was amazing.
I love that.
Yeah, that was wonderful. We'll be putting that one back out. In fact, I'm working on getting some new Stobies in here pretty soon. We actually have a kombucha company that fired off their business not long ago, right nearby. So,
nice.
Having them kind of in our backyard is certainly an asset. So, yeah, the kombucha mead was our favorite. I don't do a tremendous amount of sours. We do a sour cider. But Mr. Frank Golbeck would be probably the resource and reference I would make to anybody really interested in sours. He's doing a lot of great things in Cali. But they're certainly fun to try. They're certainly fun to play with. But it's not something we typically we do on a regular basis. There are some things that are